Disability Network Mid-Michigan is a community-based grassroots advocacy organization that works to empower people with disabilities and break down barriers in our communities. I'm Kelly Palong, Executive Director of Disability Network Mid-Michigan, and a person with a disability who's used a wheelchair since childhood. 82% of our employees are people with disabilities, so we are providing services from the same perspective of those who seek our support. We cover 12 counties in the Mid-Michigan area. Our mission is to promote and encourage independence for all people with disabilities, and our long-term vision is accessible and inclusive communities that provide opportunities for individual choice. People with disabilities make up the largest minority group, with 1 in 3 families being impacted by disability. Disability is experienced across every demographic segment of our population. No matter your age, religion, gender, sexual orientation, or other discernible qualities, you can experience disability. In fact, we know that 70% of people with disabilities are not born with their disability, but rather acquire them later in life due to an accident, injury, or change in health status. We are an equal opportunity club that anyone can join at any time. That being said, current society does not always value people with disabilities. People with disabilities are 3 times as likely to be out of the labor force as people without disabilities. People with disabilities have a greater chance of being forced to live in congregate care settings or institutions rather than their own home or community because of lack of affordable and available home and community-based services. People with disabilities experience limited access to accessible, affordable housing and transportation, which in turn limits access to adequate sources of employment, food, healthcare, and community inclusion. At Disability Network Mid-Michigan, we're working to change these things by providing 5 core services to the community. Information and referral to help you find services and supports needed to accommodate your disability situation. Skills development to help you live as independently as possible. Peer support so you can connect with others who have the same or similar lived experience. Community transition services to help young people to transition to adulthood and to help those in congregate care facilities transition to community-based settings of their choice. Individual and systems change advocacy to address inequalities, transform communities, and impact public policy and legislation. At Disability Network Mid-Michigan, we advocate. When changes are needed, we speak up. We work with community partners to create accessible, user-friendly places and spaces. We educate. We work to break down stigma and raise awareness that disability is a natural part of the human experience. We empower. We believe people with disabilities are the best experts on their own lives, and we're here to help give people a voice. There's never going to be a time when there aren't people with disabilities in the world, but there can be a time when our societies are welcoming and inclusive. There can be a time when people with disabilities have the skills and training they need to be successfully employed. There can be a time when people with disabilities live independently in their communities with the necessary supports and services they need to be healthy and safe. There can be a time where people with disabilities are seen for the value they bring rather than the perceived barriers they pose. By supporting people with disabilities, we are moving forward toward our vision of accessible and inclusive communities where everyone has opportunities for choice.